Hey guys, it's Mike with Survive Today, and want to talk about water. Whether you call it your bug out bag, your get home bag, your 72-hour emergency kit, whatever, in every one of your vehicles, if you're caught away from home, you need to make sure that you take care of the essentials. And the first thing that's going to give you a problem before food is water. If, like most people, you throw a case of water bottles, from the store, the 16-ounce disposable bottles of water into your trunk, and you think you're good, well, think again. The fact is, your kids will take them out and use them one by one, and before you know it, they're all gone. Or it's winter and they freeze, and now what are you going to do? The other thing is, what if your car is inoperable and you need to hike it home? And it's going to be 15, 20 miles, something like that. Every gallon of water you carry is 8 pounds if you have a backpack that can carry all of those individual bottles. Best is to have water, but also have a method of making water that you find clean. So that's what I've got here. First of all, I've got a nice big container. This is the Clean Canteen. This is 64 ounces, so 2 quarts. Great because it's stainless steel. I can put water in there. If it freezes, it's okay. I can heat it up because I always have my little tiny backpacking stove with me in the truck. So I can boil water to heat water to make it drinkable if it's ice, and I can also boil water to purify it if I need to in this container. The only thing that isn't stainless steel is the top, and that comes right off. So I've got, in addition to a container for carrying a lot of water, I've got something to boil it. Now, moving to this, what if I don't find any good potable water and I need to drink some stinky retention pond water, or from a little stream or creek or a river that's disgusting and polluted? Well, I've always got a bandana, and I only have 2 hands here to show you everything, but I also have coffee filters in my truck. The coffee filters are great because I can scoop up some disgusting water with a bunch of floaties and scum in there and goose poop and whatever else you're going to find inside of a retention pond, and then I can pour it into the other container using the bandana or the coffee filters to get out the large particulate matter. Next, now that I have some pretty clear water, and I can even pour it a couple times through a sock or a rag, something like that. Once I get all the big floaties out, now I need to get out the bacteria, viruses, and the protozoa. Protozoa are just basically Giardia and Cryptosporidium, and those are the things that give you what the medical manuals call explosive diarrhea. Now, typically that onset for that explosive diarrhea is a few days after you ingest the water, so hopefully you'd already be home when that hits you, but it's better to just filter it out. Now, a water filter like this aqua-mira water bottle will filter out most of that bad stuff. But because you want the rule of 3s, right? If you have 3, you can only count on 2. If you have 2, you can only count on 1. And in an emergency, if you only have one way of doing something, you're out of luck. I only have 2 hands and they're not coming out. But in here are my water purification tablets. So I can put the water purification tablets in there, kill off any bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. Then, because it probably isn't going to taste that great, I've had that before, I can then filter it through the water bottle, and I'm drinking water that is clear because I filtered it through my socks or my water, my bandana or my coffee filter. The water is biologically safe because I put my water purification tablets in there, and then the filter will also help reduce the other 2 things that you have to worry about. So we talked about bacteria, viruses, protozoa. What are the other 2 things? Heavy metals like arsenic and now I'm having a senior moment and I can't tell you. Your heavy metals are arsenic and mercury, things like that, industrial spill off generally. And then the other thing are VOCs, volatile organic compounds. And you know what that is? Go to a golf course and drink the water in one of their ponds, and what are you going to be drinking? 50% water, 50% fertilizer and pesticides that they use to keep the lawns green. Those are volatile organic compounds. The reason they're volatile is their boiling point is below that of water. So if I were just purifying water by boiling it, by the time the water reaches 212 degrees, which will kill off bacteria, viruses, and protozoa, now before it's even reached 212 degrees, around 165, all those chemicals, pesticides, fertilizers, those have already boiled off. They're more volatile. They have a lower boiling point. So even if I don't boil the water, if I filter it, And then I use water purification tablets to kill the bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. Then I use my filter bottle here. That'll get rid of most of the volatile organic compounds, agricultural runoff, and the heavy metals like mercury and arsenic. And now I'm doing pretty well. So what you have here, it looks like I just have 2 bottles in my hand, but what I have here actually is a very robust system of ensuring that I've got a lot of good, clean drinking water that won't get me sick. Covered a lot of ground. Hope I didn't get too confusing. You can always hit replay. But one last thing about these water filters. Why don't I just use the water filter, you might say? Well, first of all, I want to pre-filter it through my socks or a bandana or coffee filters because I don't want this to get clogged up with all the floaties, the big particulate matter. Second of all, most of these will just get bacteria. They will not get viruses. And viruses are a much smaller size, and they'll just pass right through the filter and get you sick. So that's why I have the water purification tablets. So I've got several different methods here to make sure that I'm golden. So I'd love to hear you comment. One thing you might think, why don't I use just a little pumping backpacking filter? My brother did a video on that. Again, those aren't typically good enough for viruses, and it's mechanical. For me and my emergency kit, I want something that's not mechanical, that could break. I have to do field maintenance, or if I leave water in it, a little bit of water, and it's in the winter, it could freeze and break the element, and then I can't rely on it. I kind of like this. Simple, safe, very robust. So, for Survive Today, this is Mike. See you next time.